Welcome to Mattermost kitchen, cooking with Jesus. Today we are going to prepare tortilla española. I split this in three parts. The first half of the tortilla española, the gazpacho, and the second half of the tortilla española, because the tortilla española takes some time to get prepared. This is the expected result from the first part, okay? Basically, we are going to peel and cut potatoes, peel and cut onion, fry everything in a slow, in a medium temperature, not high temperature. So it's going to be more boiled than fried. We're going to reserve that later for other things. But while it's frying, we are going to prepare the gazpacho, because the gazpacho is really easy, really quick to prepare, and we can do it while the potatoes are frying. So the steps for the tortilla for the first part is peel the potatoes, cut the potatoes in slices, SD card size more or less. I'm going to show that later, but it's more or less that size. Then we're going to peel the onion and cut the onion in small pieces. Fill a pan with oil to deep fry. I'm going to use olive oil, but I guess for everybody else, everyone that is not in Spain or Italy probably is super expensive. So you can use any other oil that is not super flavorish or something like that. Something like the corn oil or sunflower oil works perfectly fine. We warm up the oil a bit and then put the potatoes and the onion in the oil and deep fry it during approximately 15 minutes. Okay. After that, we're going to have this, and while that is frying, we are going to prepare the gazpacho. The expected result of the gazpacho is something like this. Can be more red, can be more orange. It depends a lot on the tomatoes, on the ingredients that you are using, but it doesn't matter. It's about the flavor, not about the color. So don't worry if yours is not super red or something like that, or is super red and you think is too much red. Don't worry, it's perfectly fine, any color between orange and red. So the steps, well, we could cut the tomatoes in small chunks and put it in the grinder. Cut the onion and put it in the grinder. It's a small chunk of onion. Cut the green pepper and put it in the grinder. Peel the garlic clove and put it in the grinder. Partially peel the cucumber. It's not peeling the whole cucumber. You peel around 70% of the cucumber, but you leave some of the skin there. And cut in chunks and put it in the grinder. And then you add the vinegar and the salt, some water, some ice cubes. Crush everything during 3 or 4 minutes, depending on the power of your grinder. For this, the better the grinder, the better the gazpacho, because it's going to be smoother, and that is going to be great. When you finish crushing everything, you add a bit of olive oil and then crush for 5 seconds to move everything and mix together, and that's it. Well, some people add the oil at the beginning, and what it does is when you crush everything together, is going to generate, well, it's going to generate more orange color into the gazpacho, and it's going to be a bit different. I prefer to add the olive oil at the end, but if you add the olive oil before, it's not a big deal. Okay, now we have our gazpacho prepared. I'm going to show some other things around the gazpacho, because you have the gazpacho itself, but the gazpacho can be served in different ways, and some people prefer to serve in one way or another, and I'm going to share some examples. We have the gazpacho, and now we need to prepare the tortilla. This is the expected result of tortilla española, Spanish omelette. And the steps are simple. You take 6 eggs and whisk them. You take the fried potatoes and onion and put that in the eggs. You add a teaspoon of salt, depending on your taste for salt, and the size of your teaspoon. Can be more, can be less, but it's just a matter of feeling there. So let's see what happened. One important thing about the Spanish omelette, if you fail with the salt, there's no solution for that. You are going to have a Spanish omelette that is okay, but it's not perfect. And if you add too much salt, you end up having the same problem. There's no solution. You can add the salt later because it's not going to work. In the gazpacho, you can add salt later, you can add more vinegar later, but in the tortilla is something that you have to nail it. Okay, then you remove from the previous pan, remove all the oil. You can use the previous pan or use another one that can be smaller or bigger, depending on how you prepare the onions. But at the end of the day, what you want is to have a pan with a thin shape of oil, and that's it. With that, you pre-hot that, and then put the mixture, the potatoes with the eggs, on the pan. Wait for around 10 seconds or 15 seconds or something like that, and then move a bit the tortilla, the mixture, move a bit the mixture in the pan. This is a trick to make the inside of the tortilla better cook, and it depends. Some people prefer to have a bit of raw egg in the middle, but probably if you are not used to the tortilla, probably for the first experience, it's better to not have too much raw egg there. So this trick helps you to not have to cook the tortilla more time to get everything properly cooked. Then you wait around 2-3 minutes. Then, and this is the tricky part, you take a plate that covers the whole pan. This is my pan. This is my plate. I'm going to put the plate here, put the hand here, and flip the tortilla. It's something that sometimes there are accidents, and I'm going to show some examples of what is going to happen. Then you cook for the other side, other 2 or 3 minutes. You can remove the tortilla then. If you want the tortilla more cooked because your tortilla is too thick or something like that, you can keep flipping the tortilla to make it more in the inside. But in general, with this recipe, you are going to have a tortilla that is correctly made in the middle. Common mistakes. The common mistakes when you are preparing a tortilla is the classic accident. This is the one. This is all about confidence. If you do this with confidence, there's no problem. This happened to people that have been doing tortilla for years. That is a classic one. The other one is the sticky pan problem. If you have a good pan, this shouldn't happen. But if your pan is not very good or is a bit old, you can have this problem. When you try to turn the tortilla, half of the tortilla gets stick to the pan and never fall. So that is another problem. That is a classic one, actually. Don't worry if it happens to you. It's not your fault. So, and the problem with the gazpacho are normally if the grinder is not enough powerful, the texture is not smooth enough, and it's a bit less delicious. The other problem is garlic and cucumber have too much personality, and some people don't like it. So if you don't like cucumber or you don't like garlic, you don't need to add it to the recipe. And thank you. And I'm going to start with peeling the potatoes. It's like around 600 grams of potatoes. I don't know how is that in American system, but feel free to ask questions, to make comments, to talk about your weekend or whatever.
I have a question, Jesus. Do you eat this usually for like what kind of meal? Is it lunch? Just doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's a good question. It depends. The gazpacho, for example, is a dish that you usually use to replace a salad as a starter. For example, for a lunch, you can put some gazpacho. Some people call it cold tomato soup. Is how we translate that in the menus for the foreign people. Cold tomato soup that is not pretty accurate in my opinion. It's just that it's a smoothie of tomato that you eat like it's a soup in a bowl with a spoon. It's usually consumed in summer because it's a very refreshing dish. And yeah, in the winter it's not so so appealing because at the end of the day it's cold and it's not that good. And for the tortilla is have a lot of usages. A lot of people have tortilla in at the middle of the morning or something like that. Yeah, any time. It's not especially for breakfast, but for example, if you go to a hotel in Spain, for sure they are going to have a Spanish omelette in the buffet. So that is something that is super common in hotels, but the people doesn't eat tortilla for breakfast at home. And the other thing is it's super common to take the tortilla and make a sandwich with it. And now we are going to cook the potatoes. I'm going to cook this and yeah, maybe this, like this. It's not, well, in this case, it's a bit small, but this is more or less the thickness of the potatoes. If it's a bit more thick, it's not important. If it's a bit more thin, it's not important. If it's too thin, the problem if it's too thin, it's going to get crunchy, and it's not the idea. The idea is to get the potatoes soft.
Why do some people feel that they onion should not be in there? Is it just a preference thing, or like what's the argument? Okay.
No, the argument is the Spanish omelette with onion is worse, and that's it. It's about taste.
Okay.
And some people feel really strong about that, and that's it. Now we are going to fry this. I'm going to use this big pan. Okay, let's move this here. Okay.
Jesus, are we deep frying the potato?
More or less, we are deep boiling or something like that because it's not going to be super hot the oil. So we are going to hot the oil a bit. They have to cover the potatoes. Yes, if that's the question, that's the answer.
Okay, thank you.
So we are going to fry this at more or less medium temperature. It's going to be like 10 minutes frying in that not so hot temperature for getting it soft.
Does the oil have to be super hot when you put the potatoes in?
No, not super hot, a bit hot. I'm pre-hotting that with max power there, but now I'm going to put it down into something like 7.5. This is the real food that we eat in Spain. These are the most easy dishes that we have here, but at the same time, it's one of the most common for Spanish people to prepare. And now we are going to prepare the gazpacho. I'm going to wash the tomatoes. Okay, now I'm going to cut the tomatoes in in a small chunks that it's not important. It's not really important the size. It's important that the tomato is red. It's a red tomato. The more flavor have the tomato, the better, because this is it's a dish that is super important, the tomato. I'm going to add the onion. My slices of onion is pretty small because I wanted to add a bit more onion to the tortilla. But yeah, a small slice of onion, a bit bigger than that, and we can cut it and put it in the grinder too. I'm going to cut a bit of this is Italian pepper, but you can use any other green pepper that you have. That's okay. I open and remove the seeds from the inside, and then I cut it and add it to the grinder. I'm going to add some already cut garlic. Again, I normally use fresh garlic. This is frozen garlic, but I normally use fresh, but this time I haven't. But the idea is if you have the cucumber, you don't peel everything. You cut both the top and the bottom of the cucumber, and then you peel the cucumber like this, leaving some stripes in between. And then you cut the cucumber in small chunks and put it in the grinder. In this case, I have a pretty small teaspoon. I don't know, for reference, this is my mobile, and this is more or less the size of the teaspoon. It's pretty small. This is kind of coffee teaspoon or something like that. Well, it's a small teaspoon. So I'm going to add two teaspoons of salt. Then I'm going to add wine vinegar. This is a bit strong wine vinegar, so I don't going to add too much, but you have to add without too much worry because it's one of the key ingredients of the gazpacho. And now I'm going to add some ice and water. I end up with a glass of water with ice, and then I add it to the grinder. The potatoes from the pan now get that they are soft already. Okay, now, well, I already have the potatoes here. This is the aspect of the potatoes. Is a bit, some of them get crunchy, and that was a bad thing for me. But it's not a big deal, but it's going to make the texture of the tortilla a bit less smooth, and is not perfect, but it's okay. The simplest way to serve the gazpacho, well, this is the aspect of my gazpacho. In the camera looks pretty white, but it's more or less pink or something like that. I'm going to put some olive oil. And now I'm going to move everything, mix everything together a bit. This is just enough to serve a gazpacho. You can serve the gazpacho like this, and it's perfectly fine. You can eat this with a spoon. It's normally how you eat this, with a spoon, and that's it. It's, as I said, it's pretty liquid. Cut some of the vegetables. Probably also onion and cucumber here, but I don't have more. But cut some small pieces of cucumber, tomato, pepper, and onion, and added this. The idea is you put this in the middle, and maybe even if you want to be a bit more posh, you can do this and do and looks pretty nice, and it tastes great. You can pick some bread, for example, without the with or without the chunks of vegetables. You can put bread there, small chunks of bread, or if you prefer, you can use croutons. And that's it. That's all about the gazpacho. I'm going to whisk up 6 eggs. Sounds like a lot, but it's the right amount of eggs for the amount of potatoes that we have. A spoon of salt. I'm going to add 2 spoons of salt, but it's because my spoon is pretty small. The problem with the tortilla is if you do it right with the salt, it's great. If you don't, you have no way to fix it. There's no way. You can add salt later. You can solve that problem later. If you, no matter if you get too much salt or you get too few salt, you end up, you are screwed. So, okay. Now I add the salt, and I add the potatoes and the onion. I mix everything together. I like to smash some of the potatoes, but it's something that I like to do. It's not mandatory, so I'm going to use a different spoon because this is super big. It's not a problem if it's too big. It's not a big deal, but then the tortilla is going to get super thin. This is too small, so it's going to be more thick than I expected or than I like, but probably something in between is the right choice. I'm going to add a bit of salt here, a bit of oil here, not too much because it's just for allowing the tortilla to not stick to the pan. And now I'm going to rehot this. I'm not going to use the whole mixture for this pan because it's going to be too thick. But probably you will need to use the whole mixture if your pan is not. Okay, I'm going to start. I reserve that tiny amount. It's just for not making it too big. And now I'm going to move from the bottom and that's it. It's going to be still liquid at the top, so don't worry, it's okay, it's how it is. Now I'm going to wait around 2 minutes. Now we have a plate that is bigger than the pan, because if not, you can flip it. So take it, have it prepared.
Now, Jesus, what kind of onion did you use? I didn't see you shed a tear, and I was like tearing up over here. So,
okay, depending on the onion, you can end up having more flavor in the gazpacho. So the onion have a lot of effects there, and in the tortilla, I use sweet onions. Okay, it's just softer. That is okay, but normally the people use regular onions for the tortilla and for the gazpacho. So any onion is okay. I'm going to flip the tortilla. So I put the plate on it. I'm going to change this for let you see how it goes. Okay, this is it's about confidence. Okay, just flip that, and that's it. This is how it looks like. It's pretty gold color there, and it's perfect. Okay, I was not showing what I was doing, and this is how you put it in again. You just let it fall from the plate on the pan slowly, of course, and that's it. Now other 2 minutes here. Some people likes it more liquid in the middle. Some people likes it more dry. But in general, it depends on the taste of each of everyone.
Okay, I have potatoes peeking out a little bit.
Sorry. Oh, what? You flip it.
Peeking out. Does that look good to you? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
looks okay. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to flip it again because mine have some raw egg in the border, and I don't want that. But it's just perfect already, so it's perfectly fine. I'm going to make this quick switch, and now I'm going to take another plate to serve it. And that's it. Here it is, Spanish omelette. Okay, now we have it. This is mine. I'm going to cut a bit to show you how it's inside. Well, this is a juicy one, okay? It's half a bit of raw egg there. That's not a problem. You can, if you want to have more cooked one, you can keep flipping it, and you are going to have with less raw. But this is more juicy. It's perfectly fine. You can eat it. It's not a big deal. But feel free to cook more yours because, again, it's a matter of taste. Great.
It's a little bit rustic, and a few of my potatoes slipped out, but for my first time, not so bad.
No, not bad at all. Actually, it's the first time is not an easy thing because you don't know exactly what you are doing. So it's perfectly fine, actually.
Good. I was nervous about the flipping. I had to psych myself up a little bit because I think my pan was just a tiny bit too big. So I had way too big, way too small, and I thought I had a medium one, but I need something a bit smaller.
Now I have to. So it's all broken now because I have to flip it manually.
Yeah, it's okay. The flavor is going to be the same, but yeah, the sticky pan is something that happens when it doesn't happen to me because I'm like very obsessed with the pans. Perfect. How it tastes?
So good. I called my husband down. He likes it too. So good.
Great. Yeah, it's a super simple dish, but super delicious. So just potatoes and egg and onion.
It's firm enough to hold like a slice of pizza.
Yeah, and that is a way to eat it. It's really common to just pick a slice. Oh, what I was saying in the first session, Linda asked me if it's common to add, for example, Tabasco or something like that to the gazpacho. It's not common. It's an American thing. And another important thing is Spain is not far from Mexico. We don't eat spicy food at all, at all. If you think something is Spanish because it's spicy, that's probably not there's no typical dish in Spain that is spicy. No. And what else? Well, that's it. I think we're done here. I hope everybody love it and enjoy it, and I hope your family enjoyed it too. Have a good lunch, dinner, whatever is depending on your time zone. Yeah, I'm glad to have you all here.
This was so fun. Thank you. And I've had 3 family members come down and start eating it practically before I even had it on the plate. So thank you. This was great.
Oh yeah, I said it's really good, and we're like starting early lunch today. Usually we don't eat until 1 or 2, but it's just 10, and we're like starting to enjoy it already. So thank you so much, Jesus.
This is perfect for us. It's 1 p.m. here, so it's perfect lunch.
Yeah, great. Yeah, great to hear that. So let's see if you like it and you repeat it. If you meet somebody from Spain and you prepare any of these dishes to them, they are going to be, they are going to recognize their own foods there. So, well, thank you all.
Thank you. Happy holidays, everybody.
Yeah, happy holidays.
Take care.
Thanks.
Thanks, Jesus. Bye-bye.
Thank you. See you.